Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. How are we doing today? Hold on. I need some entrepreneurial energy, which is what I came for. How are we doing today? That is better. Thank you so much for having me, and I appreciate your patience. Bonjour tout le monde, everyone. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are gathered today here on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. I would like to thank Shannon and his entire team at NACCA for inviting me to speak today, and I'm so happy to be here. It is a pleasure to be here with so many amazing Indigenous entrepreneurs. The best part of my job is to be in rooms like these filled with incredible entrepreneurs and businesses who are really making a difference in our communities. Dans le cadre de mes fonctions, j'ai eu l'occasion de rencontrer des entrepreneurs autochtones de partout au Canada. In February, I was in the Yukon where I met local chiefs and entrepreneurs to discuss their ideas about how our government can better support their continued growth and success. And in March, I met with the Mi'kmaq entrepreneurs in Member 2 and Escanoni to hear about what is working well for them, what their challenges are facing. Small businesses aren't small. They make up 98% of our incredible economy. Elles représentent plus de 80% des emplois au Canada. And they generate half of the economic output. Those are incredible numbers. But sadly, the reality is, due to systemic barriers, we know that not everyone who is contributing to these numbers have the opportunity to do so. These barriers are even higher for Indigenous entrepreneurs, and unfortunately, as a result of shameful history of racism and discrimination against Indigenous peoples. I heard this within the first week of talking to Shannon. In fact, when I first got sworn in, one of my first calls was to Shannon to ensure that I am really there, because one of my biggest priorities is advancing economic reconciliation as a minister. There are tens of thousands of Indigenous-owned businesses across this country who today contribute $31 billion to Canada's annual GDP. I need you to give all of our amazing entrepreneurs a round of applause, please. Truly, by empowering Indigenous entrepreneurs to fully participate in the economy, this number can even be bigger. Advancing Indigenous economic self-determination is not only the right thing to do, but the smart thing to do. Our government understands that advancing reconciliation requires a commitment to Indigenous economic self-determination, including leveling the playing field for all entrepreneurs. That's why in our budget 2024, which we released just a few weeks ago, access to financing is vital to growing a business. So in our budget, we're proposing $350 million to renew Canada's commitment to Indigenous financial institutions that support Indigenous small businesses. We are also proposing $2.5 million to continue to support Indigenous Tourism Association across Canada. It's really about creating and attracting people to experience the amazing communities, to learn. I myself have learned so much. I think one of my favorite things when I meet entrepreneurs, especially Indigenous entrepreneurs, is they share with me how they give back to communities. And so when you support an Indigenous entrepreneur, you're not just supporting them, you're supporting their families, and then you're supporting others as well, because altogether they raise each other up. And to me, that is extremely powerful, especially being an entrepreneur myself. And finally, in Budget 2024, we're promising $36 million for the Strategic Partnership Initiative's Clean Energy Program, which will promote Indigenous participation in clean growth opportunities. That's the future. These new budget measures are on top of the previous actions we are taking to grow Indigenous business. And in March, I was so happy to announce a partnership with NACCA on $2.5 million to enhance, wait for it, the Indigenous Women Entrepreneurship Program and the Indigenous Youth Entrepreneurship Program as well. I started my entrepreneurial journey late in the game. I was in my mid-30s. I already had a husband, kids, lots of responsibilities. And I think to myself, what if someone invested in me, and or I figured out that entrepreneurship is a viable option even younger. And what I think about the opportunities for the generation today and the difference that's going to make. We made this announcement in Member 2 Heritage Park in Unimaki, the traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. It was a very powerful day. It was an incredible announcement because I saw the possibilities that this investment is actually going to create on the ground for communities. So again, meeting the opportunities and meeting with women entrepreneurs like Loretta Gould, a Mi'kmaq artist from Wicomic First Nation, she shared with me that she had to navigate her entrepreneurial journey by herself because there wasn't enough targeted supports at a time and nothing existed. She told me that she wished this kind of support existed 20 years ago when she started her small business, and she hopes that her investments will better help her own daughter. And so this is the generational change that we need in this country. And our government is changing that trajectory and making sure that Indigenous entrepreneurs no longer have to go through this alone. Our investment, again, with our Indigenous Women Entrepreneurship Program is going to help support thousands of women. Going one step further, imagine the youth. The youth, they have these incredible ideas and they just want to pursue them. So let's support them. Let's believe in them. And today I just want to take a moment and give a shout out to NACCA's new Youth Advisory Council members, Amy Jackson, Anthony Wingham, Destiny Peter, and Edgar Villanueva Cruz. Can we give them a round of applause, please? You know, to this council members, by sharing your experiences, sharing your stories, you're going to inspire so many others. So I want to thank you so much. Our partnership with NACCA, to me, has been just incredible. Bien entendu, les entrepreneurs autochtones bénéficieront également d'autres mesures entrepreneuriales plus larges, comme le prévoit notre budget. From our Canada Carbon Rebate for small businesses, $200 million to increase to ensure access to capital revenue to communities, $60 million to Futurepreneur Canada. Listen, I can go on all day. But these targeted measures will help support small and medium-sized businesses. En tant que ministre de la petite entreprise, je suis fière des efforts de l'emploi par notre gouvernement pour assurer un climat d'affaires plus inclusif et diversifié. Budget 2024 builds on the work we've been created since 2015, and it's been a journey. We need to, and we want to, invest in Indigenous prosperity for every generation. I believe that together, yes, that's all of us in the room, myself included, we can build that resilient and sustainable Indigenous economy, one that increases social and economic resilience. Une économie qui fonctionne pour tout le monde, peu importe qui vous êtes ou d'où vous venez. So thank you to Shannon and to the entire NACCA team for the work that you're doing every single day to support our entrepreneurs. And thank you so much for taking on the 50-30 challenge, which is increasing representation and inclusion in these diverse workplaces as well. Thank you so much for having me. Enjoy the rest of your conference, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.